Let me tell you about my friend Marcus. He's 35, lives in Austin, Texas, and just celebrated his 5th anniversary in his house. Last weekend, we were grabbing coffee and he pulled out his phone to show me something that had been bothering him. He'd finally looked at his mortgage statement, really looked at it, for the first time since buying the place. Marcus bought his 3-bedroom home in December 2020 for $385,000. He put down 20%, so he borrowed $308,000 at a 3.5% interest rate on a 30-year fixed mortgage. His monthly payment is $1,383, which felt manageable to him. But here's what shocked him. After making payments religiously for 5 years, 60 months of never missing a payment, he'd paid the bank over $83,000. Guess how much of that actually went toward paying down his loan? Only $23,400. That means more than $59,600 went purely to interest. He'd given the bank nearly $60,000 and he still owed $284,600 on his house. At that moment, Marcus realized he was on track to pay nearly $190,000 in total interest over the life of his loan. On top of the $308,000 he borrowed, he'd end up paying almost $498,000 total. "Nate," he said, looking genuinely distressed, "I could buy another house with the money I'm paying in interest. There's got to be a better way." And you know what? He's absolutely right. There is a better way. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how mortgage interest works, why it costs you so much money over time, and most importantly, I'll give you 4 proven strategies to pay off your mortgage years ahead of schedule. We're talking about potentially saving tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest payments. This is powerful stuff, so let's get into it. But how mortgage interest actually works, before we talk about solutions, you need to understand exactly how the banks calculate interest on your mortgage. Once you see this, everything else will make perfect sense. And trust me, it's simpler than you think. Your monthly mortgage payment has 2 components. First, there's the principal. That's the actual money you borrowed that you're paying back. Second, there's the interest. That's what the bank charges you for the privilege of borrowing their money. Here's the critical part that most people don't understand. Every single month, the bank calculates interest based on your remaining loan balance. In the early years of your mortgage, your balance is huge, so the interest charges are massive. As time goes on and you slowly pay down that balance, the interest charges gradually get smaller. Let me show you exactly how this works with some real numbers. Let's say you take out a $300,000 mortgage at 7% interest for 30 years. That 7% is an annual rate, but mortgages charge interest monthly, so we divide that by 12 to get a monthly rate of 0.583%. In your very first month, the bank calculates $300,000 times 0.583% equals $1,750 in interest charges. Your monthly payment on this loan would be $1,996. So out of that first payment, $1,750 goes to interest, and only $246 goes toward actually paying down your loan balance. You borrowed $300,000, and after your first payment, you still owe $299,754. In month 2, the bank charges interest on that remaining balance, $299,754 times 0.583% equals $1,748 in interest. Again, you pay $1,996, so now $248 goes to principal. See the pattern? In the beginning, almost your entire payment is just interest. It takes years before you're actually making significant progress on paying down what you borrowed. Let me give you some numbers that'll really drive this home. With a $300,000 mortgage at 7% for 30 years, total amount borrowed $300,000. Total interest, you'll pay over 30 years, $418,527. Total amount you'll actually pay $718,527. You're paying almost 1.40 for every dollar you borrowed, and that's with a 7% rate, which as of December 2024 is actually pretty reasonable. Just a year and a half ago, rates were pushing 8%. Let's look at different interest rate scenarios to see how much this matters. Same $300,000 loan, 30-year term at 4% interest, you'll pay $215,609 in total interest. At 5% interest, you'll pay $279,767 in total interest. At 6% interest, you'll pay $347,515 in total interest. At 7% interest, you'll pay $418,527 in total interest. At 8% interest, you'll pay $492,433 in total interest. That's nearly $500,000 in interest at 8%. These numbers should make you angry enough to do something about it. Banks use something called an amortization schedule to plan out your entire mortgage. This is basically a massive spreadsheet showing every single payment over the life of your loan, all 360 payments if it's a 30-year mortgage. Let me build a simple version of this so you can see exactly what's happening. I'll use that same $300,000 loan at 7% interest. Month 1. Beginning balance, $300,000. Interest charged, $1,750. The total payment, $1,996. Principal paid, $246. Ending balance, $299,754. Month 12, end of year 1. Beginning balance, $297,033. Interest charged, $1,733. Total payment, $1,996. Principal paid, $263. Ending balance, $296,770. After 1 full year of payments, you've paid the bank $23,952, but your loan balance only dropped by $3,230. That means $20,722 went to interest in just the first year. Month 60, end of year 5, beginning balance, $283,990. Interest charged, $1,657. Total payment, $1,996. Principal paid, $339. Ending balance, $283,651. Here's something wild. At the 15-year mark, exactly halfway through your 30-year mortgage, you've paid $359,280 total. But you still owe $213,016. That's 71% of what you originally borrowed. Where did all that money go? And interest, month 360. Final payment. Beginning balance, $1,985. Interest charged, $12. Total payment, $1,996. Principal paid, $1,984. Ending balance, $0. In your very last payment, almost all of it goes to principal, with just $12 in interest. But by then, you've already paid hundreds of thousands in interest over the previous 29 years and 11 months. This is exactly why the banks love 30-year mortgages. They front load all the interest, ensuring they get paid first. You're basically renting money from them, and they're making an absolute fortune on the deal. All right, now that you understand how the game is rigged, let's talk about how to beat it. I'm going to show you 4 different strategies. Each one works by doing the same fundamental thing, reducing your principal balance faster, which reduces future interest charges. Strategy number 1, add $100 extra to each monthly payment. This is the simplest strategy and requires almost no effort once you set it up. Instead of paying just your required monthly payment, you add an extra $100 and specify that it goes toward principal. Let's see what happens with our $300,000 mortgage at 7%. Normal monthly payment, $1,996. Your payment with extra $100, $2,096. Original payoff time, 30 years, 360 months. New payoff time, 25 years and 2 months, 302 months. Time saved, 4 years and 10 months. Original total. Interest, $418,527. New total interest, $333,053. Interest saved, $85,474. Just $100 extra per month. That's like 3 fancy coffees less per week or 1 dinner out, and you save over $85,000 and knock nearly 5 years off your mortgage. That's insane. And here's the beautiful part. This gets easier over time. When you first take out the mortgage, $100 might feel like a stretch. But think about 5 years from now, when you've gotten raises, maybe a promotion, when inflation has made that $100 worth less in real terms. What feels like a sacrifice today becomes barely noticeable tomorrow. Strategy number 2, add $250 extra to each monthly payment. If you can swing a bigger extra payment, the results become even more dramatic. Using the same $300,000 mortgage at 7%, normal monthly payment, $1,996. Your payment with extra, $250. That $2,246. Original payoff time, 30 years. New payoff time, 20 years and 7 months. 247 months. Time saved, 9 years and 5 months. Original total interest, $418,527. New total interest, $255,051. Interest saved, $163,476. By adding just $250 per month, you save over $163,000 in interest and become mortgage-free more than 9 years early. Think about that for a second. You'd own your home outright while most of your friends are still grinding away at their mortgages. Imagine being 50 years old with no mortgage payment. All that money that was going to the bank can now go into retirement savings, your kids' education, travel, investments, or whatever matters to you. Financial freedom isn't about being rich, it's about having choices. Strategy number 3, make one large lump sum payment. Maybe you can't afford extra monthly payments right now, but perhaps you get an annual bonus, a tax refund, an inheritance, or you sell something valuable. What happens if you make just one big payment toward your mortgage? Let's say you're 2 years into your mortgage, you've made 24 payments, and suddenly you have $10,000 available. You decide to put it all toward your mortgage principal. Here's what happens with our $300,000 mortgage at 7% lump sum payment. $10,000 applied at month 24. Original payoff time, 30 years. New payoff time, 27 years and 2 months. 326 months. Time saved, 2 years and 10 months. Total interest, $418,527. New total interest, $375,125. Interest saved, $43,402. One payment, one time, and you save over $43,000 in interest and shorten your mortgage by nearly 3 years. The math works because every dollar you put toward principal today saves you from paying interest on that dollar for potentially decades. Here's an even better scenario. What if you made that $10,000 payment in the first year instead of year 2? New payoff time, 26 years and 11 months. Time saved, 3 years and 1 month. Interest saved, $47,814. The earlier you make extra payments, the more powerful they are. That's because those dollars have more time to save you from interest charges. And here's a pro tip. You don't have to wait for one big windfall. What if every year you took your tax refund and threw it at your mortgage? The average American tax refund in 2024 was about $3,000. If you did that every single year for 10 years, you'd save massive amounts of interest and cut years off your mortgage. Strategy number 4, switch to bi-weekly payments. This strategy is clever because it tricks you into making an extra payment each year without really feeling it. Here's how it works. Instead of making one monthly payment, you make half a payment every 2 weeks. Your monthly payment is $1,996, so you'd pay $998 every 2 weeks. Wait, Nate, you're thinking, isn't that the same thing? Nope. Here's the trick. There are 52 weeks in a year. If you're paying every 2 weeks, you make 26 payments of $998. That's the equivalent of making 13 full monthly payments instead of 12. You're sneaking in one extra payment per year. Let's see the results on our $300,000 mortgage at 7%. Bi-weekly payment, $998 every 2 weeks. Original payoff time, 30 years. New payoff time, 23 years and 8 months, 284 months. You save nearly $80,000 and pay off your house more than 6 years early, and you barely notice you're doing it because the payments align with most people's bi-weekly paychecks. A word of caution though. Make sure your mortgage lender actually applies bi-weekly payments correctly. Some lenders will hold your half payments and only apply them once a month, which defeats the entire purpose. Call them and confirm they'll apply each payment as it's received. If they won't, you're better off just making one extra monthly payment per year on your own schedule. Comparison table, 4% versus 7% interest rates. I want to show you how these strategies perform at different interest rates because it really matters. Here's a comparison using a $300,000 mortgage at both 4% and 7% rates. At 4% interest rate, 30-year mortgage. Monthly payment, $1,432. Total interest over 30 years, $215,609. Strategy 1, extra $100 per month. New payoff time, 25 years, 6 months. Time saved, 4 years, 6 months. Interest saved, $48,733. Strategy 2, extra $250 per month. New payoff time, 21 years, 5 months. Time saved, 8 years, 7 months. Interest saved, $85,326. Strategy 3, one-time $10,000 payment, year 2. New payoff time, 27 years, 9 months. Time saved, 2 years, 3 months. Interest saved, $23,116. Strategy 4, bi-weekly payments, new payoff time, 24 years, 10 months. Time saved, 5 years, 2 months. Interest saved, $42,847 at 7% interest rate, 30-year mortgage, monthly payment, $1,996. Total interest over 30 years, $418,527. Strategy 1, extra $100 per month. New payoff time, 25 years, 2 months. Time saved, 4 years, 10 months. Interest saved, $85,474. Strategy 2, extra $250 per month. New payoff time, 20 years, 7 months. Time saved, 9 years, 5 months. Interest saved, $163,476. Strategy 3, one-time $10,000 payment, year 2. New payoff time, 27 years, 2 months. Time saved, 2 years, 10 months. Interest saved, $43,402. Strategy 4, bi-weekly payments. New payoff time, 23 years, 8 months. Time saved, 6 years, 4 months. Interest saved, $79,099. Notice the pattern? The higher your interest rate, the more money you save by making extra payments. At 7%, you save almost twice as much as you do at 4%. Using the same strategies, this is because every dollar of principal you pay down saves you from being charged 7% interest on it year after year versus only 4%. But don't let that discourage you if you have a low rate. Even at 4%, these strategies still save you tens of thousands of dollars and years of payments. The psychological benefit of owning your home outright is the same regardless of your interest rate. Which strategy should you use? Here's my honest advice based on what I've seen work for real people. If you're just starting out or money is tight, start with strategy 1. Just $100 extra per month. Set it up as automatic and forget about it. You'll barely miss that money, but it'll make a huge difference over time. If you're more established in your career, go for strategy 2 with $250 or more extra per month. The results are dramatic, and if you're earning a decent income, this is absolutely doable. If you get annual bonuses or windfalls, use strategy 3. Every time you get a tax refund, work bonus, or unexpected money, throw at least 50% of it at your mortgage. You'll be shocked how fast it adds up. If you want to set it and forget it, strategy 4, bi-weekly payments, is perfect. It automates the process and aligns with how most people get paid. And here's the secret. You can combine these strategies. There's no rule that says you have to pick just one. You could make an extra $150 monthly payment and throw your tax refund at your mortgage every year. The results would be spectacular. But wait, should you really pay off your mortgage early? I know some of you are thinking about the F-squared rule from our last video. Nate, if I can invest money and earn 10% in the stock market, but my mortgage is only 4%, shouldn't I invest instead? That's a fair question, and mathematically, you might be right. If you have a 4% mortgage and can reliably earn 8% or 10% by investing, the numbers say invest. The F-squared rule would confirm this, but here's what the math doesn't capture. Guaranteed return. Paying off your mortgage gives you a guaranteed return equal to your interest rate. No investment in the stock market is guaranteed. If you have a 6% mortgage, paying it off is like getting a guaranteed 6% return with zero risk. Show me an investment that can promise that. Cash flow freedom. Once your mortgage is paid off, that payment disappears from your monthly expenses. If you lose your job, get sick, or face any financial emergency, not having a mortgage payment gives you incredible flexibility. You can survive on much less income when you own your home outright. Psychological peace, I cannot overstate this. The feeling of owning your home, truly owning it, is profound. No bank can take it from you. You can lose your job and still have a roof over your head. That peace of mind is worth something, even if it doesn't show up in a spreadsheet. Forced saving. For many people, if they don't put money toward their mortgage, they'll spend it. Making extra mortgage payments is a form of forced savings that builds equity in an asset you already own. My personal recommendation, do both. Make some extra mortgage payments and invest. You don't have to choose one or the other. Put some money toward your mortgage, put some in your retirement accounts, put some in regular investment accounts. Balance is key, but if you're in your 40s or 50s and thinking about retirement, there's something incredibly powerful about entering retirement with no mortgage payment. Yeah, your retirement savings can last so much longer when you don't have that monthly payment eating into them. Remember my friend Marcus from the beginning? After we talked through all this, here's what he decided to do. He's keeping his 3.5% mortgage rate. That's pretty good and hard to beat, but he's implementing a combination approach. He's adding $200 extra to his monthly payment automatically. At his income level, he barely notices it. Every year when he gets his annual bonus, usually around $8,000, he's putting half of it, $4,000, toward his mortgage principal. Any other windfalls, tax refunds, birthday money, whatever, at least 25% goes to the mortgage. I ran the numbers for him. With his current balance of $284,600 and 25 years remaining, if he does nothing, he'll pay another $160,000 in interest, but his new plan, he'll pay off his mortgage in just under 14 years instead of 25. He'll save about $82,000 in interest. He'll own his home outright before he turns 50. He called me last week, super excited. He made his first extra payment and could literally see in his online account how his next month's interest charge dropped by $1. It's working, he said. Yeah, man, it is. Here's what I want you to do right now, today. Step 1, pull up your mortgage statement or log into your account online. Look at your current balance and your interest rate. Step 2, go to any online mortgage calculator. I like the ones at Bankrate or calculator.net and plug in your numbers. Look at your full amortization schedule. See exactly how much interest you're on track to pay. Step 3, use the calculator to model what happens if you add $100, $200, or $500 extra per month. See the results for yourself. Step 4, decide which strategy or combination of strategies works for your situation and budget. Step 5, call your mortgage company and ask them exactly how to make extra principal payments. Some want it specified in writing, some have a separate payment option online. Make sure they're applying it correctly to principal, not just prepaying future interest. Step 6, set it up automatically if possible. The best financial decisions are the ones you automate and don't have to think about. Step 7, check your mortgage statement every few months to confirm the extra payments are being applied correctly and watch your balance drop faster than scheduled. Look, paying off your mortgage early isn't for everyone. If you're in massive credit card debt at 24% interest, pay that off first. If you're not contributing enough to get your full employer 401k match, do that first. That's free money. If you have no emergency fund, build that first. But if you've got those basics covered and you're looking for a safe, guaranteed way to improve your financial situation, paying extra on your mortgage is one of the smartest moves you can make. The bank is counting on you making the minimum payment for 30 years. They've calculated their profits based on that assumption. Every extra dollar you pay is money they expected to earn but won't. You're literally taking money out of their pocket and putting it back in yours. And remember, you're not just saving money, you're buying your freedom. Freedom from monthly payments, freedom from the bank having a claim on your home, freedom to take risks in your career because your housing is secure, freedom to retire earlier because you have one less major expense. That's the real value here. Not just the dollars and cents saved, but the life those savings enable you to live. So take a look at your mortgage, run the numbers, pick a strategy, and start today.